Hi, I'm Linda from Barlates Body Blitz, and this is my fur baby Minnie. I've just given her favourite little cookies, so I'm hoping that she'll stay on the sofa with us. Today I'm finally getting to that question and answer. But first of all, Happy New Year. Wherever you are in the world, I hope that it's a good one so far. Not many days have passed yet for 2020, but I'm hoping that you're enjoying some great workouts, some healthy food, and overall just happiness and peace and joy. I know it's a hard time for many people, the festive season. It can be very stressful, but if you did my festive fit and were able to continue working out throughout the festive season, then that definitely would have helped you because of all the endorphins that exercise can bring. So let's get straight to the questions and answers. There's a lot of them, so I'm not going to go into huge amount of detail for each one. But if there's any extra information that you wanted, if you were the one that asked the question and I didn't cover it, then definitely just leave me some comments below and I'll get back to you about that. So the very first question I got was about my little Minnie, my little fur baby. And I have done another video further back, I can't remember exactly when, at least a year ago, that was kind of dedicated to Minnie, or a lot about the video was about Minnie. But I'll just go over a few questions. So Minnie is 10 years old. Even though she looks like such a little baby, she actually is already 10 years old. I can't believe I've had her for that long. She is by my side 24/7 when I'm at home. She's always following me around like a little puppy. She sits next to me while I'm working on the computer. She sits on the counters. Yes, she's allowed on the counters while I'm cooking. We just do everything together and we're inseparable. And so whenever I have to leave her for holidays and things like that, I really find it stressful and difficult. So there's only a dedicated, very, very few people that I would entrust her with. I got her as a kitten. Here in Australia, unfortunately, there's still such a thing as pet shops where you can go in and buy animals. And at one stage, what happened was my old cat, it wasn't actually even my cat, it was a neighbor's cat who adopted us. He passed away very suddenly, and he was also a black cat. And I was so devastated that I just couldn't seem to fill that hole in my heart or get over it. And so I had to do the whole rebound thing and buy a kitten. And so we were just passing past the pet shop, and there happened to be this little tiny scrawny black kitten in there. And at first we kind of thought, oh, this was my ex-husband and I, we thought it's too restrictive, you know, we want to go traveling, what are we going to do? At least the last cat was kind of the neighbor's cat, so if we went away the neighbor could feed it. But this would be a huge responsibility, as any pet is. But we just couldn't help ourselves, and by the weekend we came back and she was still there and we bought her. And I never regret a moment of it, even though she is hard work at times and very restrictive at times. The joy that she brings me every single day is definitely worth it. I will show some pics of when she was a baby. I've had her, as I said, for 10 years. The story behind her name is literally she was the scrawniest little thing. I could hold her in one hand. She was like 750 grams, so under a kilo. And she was just like a little rat almost. I think they probably took her away from her mummy too early, because I think they're supposed to be a certain age and she was underage. But because of that, it just seemed appropriate to call her Minnie, because she was so mini. Although Minnie has turned into a bit of a maxi as she's gotten older, she's still not a big cat. She only weighs about 4.5 kilos, but she definitely has gotten quite comfortable and she loves her food. So there's some cats that don't mind so much about food, they'll kind of eat it, but she is one of those gobble guts that will just eat and eat and eat and eat. So I don't actually leave a bowl out for her, because she would literally eat everything in the bowl in 5 seconds and then want more. So I just feed her when I think it's time for her to be fed. And of course she gets snacks and things throughout the day. But she's got this little pouchy thing happening here, see this little wobbly pouchy thing. And that actually isn't fat as such. I mean, it has fat in it, but it's to do with genetics. Some cats get it, some don't. So when they get desexed, they can sometimes develop this pouch, which is almost like a protective mechanism against kind of being invaded with the surgery there. So she got it just after she was spaded, and it's kind of never gone away, has it, Minnie? And you've got drool or something on your mouth, you funny thing. Okay, so that's enough about Minnie. Okay, the next few questions are all about kind of my daily routine, what I do, how I film. So how many days a week do I film workouts? Generally, I film 2 to 3 days a week. I like to do 1 day on, 1 day off, just so I can get other things done in my life. So I generally film in the afternoons. I'll still do my morning workout, my own personal workout, and then as I'm doing that workout I'm dreaming up ideas of what I want to film, and then I go and film in the afternoon and do all my editing and things then. So that's about 2 to 3 days a week. Now, depending on what's happening in life, if I know that I've got something coming up, like maybe I'm going away somewhere, then I may stash up a whole lot of workouts and film 5 days a week and then not film for a couple of weeks. So it really depends on what's happening, but the general routine is 2 to 3 times a week. Rest days, and how do I recover from being sore? So I'm one of these very intuitive people. I don't like to follow any type of set plan. I like to pretty much wake up each morning and decide on how my body feels, which workout I want to do. So if I'm particularly sore in one area, I will try to not work that area too much. And with rest days, I take them as I need them. So my workouts have changed a lot over the years in that they are not as high impact as they used to be. I used to do a lot of plyometric and pretty much workouts that are the hardest you can possibly get, and I still used to add extra equipment like ankle weights or a weighted belt or extra weights or resistance loops. I used to just make them crazy hard and literally almost kill myself in my workouts. But then as I started getting older, I realized that that probably wasn't the best thing to do, not just for my energy levels, because I found that I was fatiguing myself too much, but also just for my joints. And you want to save your joints. You want to start thinking about this quite early. You don't want to regret it when you get to your 50s and 60s and 70s and you're starting to need hip replacements, knee replacements, all of that. I definitely don't want that. So because of some injuries, I looked into other ways of moving my body, and I already loved Pilates and body weight exercises, so I kind of steered towards them a lot more. So for the last probably 4 years, I've been doing predominantly my Barlates fusion style with very little heavy weights and very little plyometrics, and that just works for me. So because of that, my body doesn't need quite as many rest days because I'm not really tearing up my muscle tissue like I used to with the weights and the plyo. Having said that, it is always good to take rest days, and I do usually take them once a week. Maybe I'll take 2 in a row every fortnight or every 3 weeks. So it kind of varies, especially depending on the workouts I'm doing. So at the moment, I'm doing quite a bit of stretching workouts. So at the moment, I'm doing some booty yoga, and that has a lot of dynamic stretching and yoga style stretching in it. So because of that, I actually feel like I don't need rest days quite as much as if I was doing more intense exercises like the Dream Body workout. So I'm talking about my own personal workouts, not what I'm filming. What I'm filming can vary a lot as well. And of course that contributes to soreness. But as I said, in the morning, I just decide what's sore, what can I do that is not going to aggravate that area, and that's what I go for. Do I work outside the home, or do I film in a studio or at home? So back in the day, you would have seen my workouts, which I used to film inside my house, and I kind of moved things around to make it look less like a house, but it definitely was in my house. And it was a huge hassle because I used to have to set up the lighting and the audio and everything and all the cables everywhere, and then take it all down again after I filmed. So eventually I got to the point where I was so fed up with that, and also the lighting wasn't great there. I got so fed up with it that I decided I needed a space dedicated to filming where I could literally walk in, film, walk out, and not have to worry about cleaning up messes. And just having the right lighting, for example, is so important. Not having shadows all over the walls, all of these little things that I didn't really realize at the very beginning. So I purpose-built a studio in my backyard, and that's where I do all my filming. And I try to film from different angles and use different props to keep things interesting for you guys. And I will definitely be filming outside a little bit more again. At the moment, it is extremely windy outside. So summer is one of those times of the year that is so windy that literally I wouldn't be able to use a mic. I would have to use the voice over audio. And I know that a lot of people don't like that. I know I don't like that. So because of that, I probably will have to wait until the wind dies down. So no outside workouts for a little while. How long have I been doing Pilates? So I've been doing a form of Pilates probably for at least 10 years, probably even longer than that, because Pilates is so interwoven into so many workouts. But dedicated Pilates, I would say probably around 10 years, but much more so in the last 4 or 5 years. It's just something that I love. I love using my own body weight to create that resistance, and as well as using things like the Pilates rings, the resistance loops, all of those little pieces of exercise equipment that make things more challenging, but still basically make you think about your own body, your muscles contracting without needing much else. Isotension, correct form, all of those little things that I'm always talking about in my videos. So yeah, I have been doing Pilates for a while. Was I a dancer? If so, what style? So I guess I was a dancer in the sense that even from a very young age, I started jazz ballet. So that was my main form of dance. And I loved movement of any kind. I did gymnastics. Well, it was actually acrobatics, which is similar to gymnastics. And I tried so many different sports, did them for a while. And I did salsa dancing for quite a while. And I also now do swing dancing, or Lindy Hop, which is a jazz style dance from the 1930s that has basically been revived for the last 20 odd years. It's kind of been up and coming because it is such a fun, unique, almost freestyle, intuitive dance. So I've been doing that for 2 years now, and I love it. I do classes every week. I go out social dancing with people from the same school or from a few different schools around Perth in WA, Western Australia, and it's just something that I love. I love moving to music, and so that is something that I've always been passionate about all my life. And so I guess in that sense I was a dancer, but I never did it professionally, so it's not something that I would call myself as such, even though now I do it quite a lot. Do I have children? No, I don't have children. With my ex-husband, he had a young daughter when we first got married. She was 5, and we had her 50% of the time. So it was almost like I was her mum 50% of the time. And at the time, we decided not to have any other children for various reasons. So no, I don't. What do I like to do for fun? So as I said, I love swing dancing. I do that twice a week at least, if not more. What else do I like doing for fun? I love playing games of any kind. So, you know, on the weekends we might go out and play mini golf, or we might do something like just throw the frisbee around, or even board games. I love board games of any kind. The more complicated, the better. I don't play computer games. That's the only thing that I don't play, because I know that it's something that you can really get drawn into. But yeah, just anything that's kind of interactive. Even, I don't know if you've seen those escape room scenarios. I don't know if you have them where you are, where basically you go to this place and they set up a whole scenario where you are locked into this room, and there's all sorts of clues and things, and you need to figure out a way out of the room. So things like that I like. I also like gardening. And that is something that's quite interesting, because I never used to like gardening. I was always like, that's for old people. But with Minnie, because she always wanted to be outside and I wanted to spend time with her, I thought, well, I may as well be productive while I'm out here. So I pretty much transformed my entire backyard by planting plants and just keeping on top of things, pruning. I even like mowing the lawn. So I'm very hands-on. And recently we built a pond in the backyard. A beautiful, massive pond. It was never meant to be as big as it turned out. It was supposed to just be a little pond to attract the right wildlife in order to start creating an ecosystem where we could have like a permaculture setup. So we've got fruit and vegetables, and we're going to be planting more and more and more and more. And in the meantime, we wanted to make sure that we've got things like dragonflies, things like lizards that will eat all of the nasty insects because we want to keep everything organic. So that's what we've been doing for the last few months, and it's kept us very, very busy. A beautiful pond with rocks and waterfall, as you can see in the pictures. What else? Sports. I don't actually do any sports anymore. I used to play netball, but I actually prefer just kind of doing things spontaneously, not something that you have to stick to as such. So might go and play ping pong, at the local ping pong tables. Or, a friend of mine was saying we should go and play badminton or things like that. Just doing things for fun, mostly as a one-off, or if I enjoy it, every now and then. What else can I tell you? Okay, so what does a normal day look like for me? So basically, I get up in the morning, I'll go and check my emails, have a coffee, reply to all of my emails and social media. I like to do that first thing because I know a lot of my customers or viewers are overseas. And so I know that when I get up, it's just kind of before they go to bed. So a lot of people like to get answers before they go to sleep. So I try to do that. And then I will go and work out. And so I usually come back into the studio and do my workouts, go back out, shower, have some breakfast, usually have some sort of smoothie. I love having just smoothies with blueberries or any type of berry and almond milk. And I've got this raw organic protein powder, which is a plant-based protein powder. And I might put coconut yogurt in there. Maybe some hemp seeds. So I just put a whole lot of different things in there, and I'll have a big like milkshake glass of that while I'm continuing my work, which is just processing orders, things like that. If I'm filming, I will then tend to eat something small. It might just be, for example, yesterday it was some rice with falafels, and then I come into the studio and I film. Then I'll go back in and I'll edit that and tie up any loose ends. If I'm catching up with friends, I probably do that on the days I'm not filming. So there may be days that I'm just catching up with friends and, having lunch, doing normal things, going shopping, then in the evenings going swing dancing or, going out for dinner, whatever it is. It's quite mundane and boring. It's not like the most exciting thing. Of course, I'm always doing things in between, like tending to the garden and the fish and the cat and just the general things that you do around the house. Cleaning, I have to clean as well. It's not like this glamorous lifestyle. It's just a very normal lifestyle. I'm just lucky that I get to work from home and I can pretty much make my day as flexible as it needs to be. So if something comes up and I can't work that day, then I just don't work that day, or I might come home late and just do a little bit before I go to bed. So it's all kind of very flexible and flowy, but I try to keep a bit of structure usually when there's not a lot on. Okay, I hope that answers that. Okay, latest nutrition and exercise routine, what you eat being vegetarian. Well, I am kind of, once again, very intuitive with what I eat. I kind of eat what I feel my body wants to eat. Of course, I know what I need to eat in terms of nutrition. So I became vegan in October. So in October, it was 3 years, October, November, December, January. So 3 years and 3 months ago. And the first 6 months was really a learning curve of trying to make sure that I was getting all of the right nutrients and how to pretty much replace everything that I was used to eating. But once I got the hang of that, I just got into a routine of just eating really moderately and balanced and trying to get variety. So my smoothies in the morning. Then for lunch, I usually have some sort of brown rice, quinoa, red rice, some sort of grain available at all times. And I've got a rice cooker, so that really helps. And then I'll mix that with some stir-fried vegetables and tofu or some falafel. I really like falafel. I like to eat sauerkraut or kimchi as well for the fermented foods. And then I even would go out to eat quite a lot. Hello, little baby. To have things like Mexican with burritos and all of the beans and rice and all of the vegetables and things in there. Oh, stay here. Or burgers. There's a place called Grilled in Australia, which has really great vegan burgers with the Beyond Meat patties, and they have lots of salads and things in there and chips. So it's not like I don't eat out or eat junk food even. I don't really think it's junk food if it's not McDonald's or Burger King or pizza or one of those, fast food chains. But obviously there's more calories and more fat, so I might just compensate for the rest of the day and not eat quite as calorie dense foods. I don't calorie count, I don't portion control. I just kind of eat what I think I should be eating for the amount of activity I've done that day. And I just eat, and probably not even until I'm full. I probably eat until I'm satisfied, but not necessarily full. I actually hate that feeling of being really full. I also try to eat quite a bit of fruit and vegetables, and I drink juice and smoothies, just fruit smoothies throughout the day. So I try to get most of my nutrients from the food I eat, but I also take supplements. So I take multivitamins, I take vitamin D, I take vitamin E, I take vitamin B12, which is something I can't get from vegan food sources. I take zinc. What else do I take? Iron tablets, because my iron was a little bit low. I recently had a blood check, but now it's a lot better. Vitamin C. So I have a whole lot of vitamins that I take just to make sure that everything's on point. And when I had my blood test, actually everything was super perfect except for the iron, which I kind of knew because I hadn't been keeping on top of it. So it's important to keep on top of things like that. And I was feeling a bit tired. So that's kind of what I eat. Exercise routine. I get up in the morning and I generally do say 60 to 80 minutes of exercise most mornings, and I do have rest days every now and then. Lately, I've been doing a lot of tonique workouts, a lot of pure bar workouts, a lot of bar workouts from even YouTube channels. Like there's this Julie Zander YouTube channel, which has some fun bar workouts. I did a few of those. Booty yoga is my latest thing for the last couple of weeks. I'm really into that. So I'll probably be doing that for a while. I change things up a lot because I like variety and I tend to get bored easily. So I don't want to be doing the same workout all the time. So I tend to have kind of favorites for a while and then switch it up again. I also love the Sweat Lab workouts or the Dream Body workouts, which I tend to mix in quite a lot. And spinning. Whenever I'm itching for a really good sweat session, I go for the Studio Sweat spin classes with Kat Com, who is my all-time favorite spin instructor. Sometimes I'll do a Kathy Friedrich workout. I very rarely do them nowadays because I've kind of steered away from conventional training, weight training, and even the cardio that she does is quite conventional. So I tend to go for the more body weight or bar style exercises. Hair care routine. Okay, so I'm actually really, really, really low maintenance. I'm not one of these people that goes to the hairdressers and spends hours and hours. I haven't even really been dyeing my hair. I dye it every now and then if it's not in very good condition, just to kind of get the condition up with a semi-permanent hair dye, which is pretty much my natural color, so it doesn't look any different. I use just an organic hair care range, which does the trick for me. Every now and then, if I start getting dry scalp, I go to the Body Shop and I buy ginger shampoo and conditioner, and that tends to clear it up. I also like to make hair mask, and I just do it myself with coconut oil, and I might put a few drops of tea tree oil in there, maybe a little bit of castor oil, which is really good for promoting hair growth. And whatever else, jojoba oil, vitamin E oil, whatever oils that I feel I have handy even and that I want to use. And then I will just rub it into mostly like my roots and then through my tips. And I'll put it up in a bun and I'll leave it there while I'm exercising. I find that's a really good time because then I've got at least an hour where it's soaking in, and then I know I'm having a shower straight afterwards anyway. So then I go to have a shower, wash it all out, and that's it. And I do that quite often when I have a dry scalp. I tend to get quite dry scalp in not even just in winter, but in summer as well, because I've had eczema since I was born. And it's been pretty good most of my life, and I've been able to control it here and there. But every now and then it just flares up. And for whatever reason, with me, it tends to be a dry scalp that manifests. So I've come up with this oil-based hair mask, which really seems to help. Apart from that, all the vitamins I take are also something that boost skin and hair health. So definitely your vitamin D, your zinc, your vitamin E, all of those things, vitamin A, they are very good for hair. I just tend to go to any old cheapo hairdresser. I really don't spend a lot of money or time on my hair. I've even cut my hair myself because I just thought I don't have time to go out and book in an appointment, or maybe the hairdresser I wanted to go to wasn't available at that time. So then I just thought, oh, I'll go on YouTube, here's a tutorial, let's cut my own hair. So, that's how low maintenance I am. That's pretty much all I do. I can't really tell you much else. Every now and then I might use some organic treatment that I buy in a tub. Dry shampoo, I use dry shampoo in between times, because it definitely helps when you can't be bothered washing your hair. But apart from that, not much else at all. The other question I was asked was about foot care. So because I work out barefoot most days, obviously it's something that I need to keep on top of. And inevitably your feet are going to develop a little bit of hardness to protect them if you are using no shoes while you're working out a lot. Especially in summer when you're also wearing open toe footwear, or just footwear that's like sandals, for example, they will tend to get a little bit harder. So to compensate for that, what I do is I keep a pumice stone in my shower. So it's one of those kind of stones that has almost like a nail file type thing, but a little bit rougher. And I rub my heels especially, and just the balls of my feet with that. Maybe every second day even, so that there's not a big build-up. Especially my heels, you don't want cracked heels, so you need to rub that at least every other day, maybe even every day, to make sure that you maintain a thinner skin there. You don't want it to be really thick, because that's when it starts cracking. Secondly, what I do is every now and then, probably once a week at least, I'll use some thick cream like the hemp Body Shop cream, or you can use body butter or any thick cream. You can even use the one that's specifically designed for cracked feet. And then I'll just put that on, and then I'll just put my little socks on top, because I don't want to walk my greasy little footprints all over the house. And I will either keep that on for a few hours during the day, or I might even sleep with it, and that will then penetrate into your feet and will help you to maintain crack-free, and will help you to maintain nicer, softer feet. If you are one of those people that finds it very difficult to find the time to maintain your feet, or you might be prone to getting cracked heels, you might just want to go and get a pedicure every now and then, just to make sure that all of that hard skin is removed, and then try to keep on top of it as well as possible. It's one of those things, you're never going to have baby smooth feet when you're working out barefoot, but you can kind of minimize the damage. Okay, well, that covers all of the questions that I was asked. I hope I answered them in enough detail for your liking. Please subscribe, because I've got many, many wonderful new workouts coming up in 2020. And like this video if you like the content. Leave me comments below if there's anything else you wanted to know, and I'll chat with you soon.